Our big idea: change the way that the divorce industry operates.
Right.
Make it about people being healthy instead of destroying the other person. Mm-hmm. That's a big idea.
Yep.
And then helping lawyers to run the business of their law firm better so that they can serve their clients better and actually be better lawyers, but only the good ones.
Yes.
Yes,
You run
that's
your
a big
business. Don't let the business run you.
And to educate other people. Really what I am is an entrepreneur coach.
1, 2, 3, go.
Jennifer Hardy, har.
Believe it or not,
Welcome to the Lawyer Dana Show.
the Lawyer Dana podcast.
Wow, we have a lot to talk about.
Da-da-da-da-da.
And we're going to do it right after this.
And da-da-da-da-da.
Welcome to the Lawyer Dana podcast.
There it is. Welcome back to the Lawyer Dana podcast with Jennifer Hardy, har.
Hello.
And all right, so how many more do we have in this book?
Oh.
We're going to go through this book,
sorry.
and then we'll get to our word of the day, and then we'll do some funny stuff, and then we'll go have fun and do other things after we entertain all the people watching,
Yes.
all 7 of them.
Dare to be different.
Dare to be different. Mm-hmm. Didn't we do that one?
I can't remember. I
Yeah,
kinda
we did.
vaguely
Remember? Soft
Okay.
divorce is different. Yeah,
That's
all
right. Share the glory.
Share the glory.
Yes.
Everyone, I share it with all of you. Rick, Andre, Paulina, Jennifer Hardy, har.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you have to share the glory because you can't do any of this stuff without a team.
Right.
I mean, you just can't.
Exactly.
It's not about you. And people don't. I think people don't respect the people that are like the glory hounds, or it's all about them, or
People that
any of
always take
stuff.
all the credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just not about that. My success comes from good and generous and wise work of people that are around us and what the whole team does. I'm just a part of it.
Right. I agree. Make friends and form alliances. Very important.
And hopefully people don't violate that on you.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Sucks when it happens. So
Daniel's probably my best friend, I would think, or definitely one of them. Daniel's so best friend that he's basically the brother I like. Oh, did I tell you? I talked to Cameron over the weekend.
no,
You know who Cameron is, right?
no. Oh, you're
Yeah,
like
my oldest
adopted
son.
Yeah.
So now, 2 out of the 4 like me. He called me for Father's Day.
Did he
and
really?
He was very nice, and
Aw.
he kind of apologized for the last way that he left things. He was like, "You were just trying to tell me the right things to do, and I wasn't in a place to listen, and I didn't listen, and turns out you were right." So I was like, "All right, well, thanks for saying it, and I appreciate it." And it took a lot of courage for him to do that.
Yeah.
He was the
He's
bigger
a sweet
man.
kid.
He
I
really
remember
is.
when you brought him to Bob's.
I think actually 3 out of the 4, maybe 4 out of the 4 are there. But I've recently talked with Dee,
Yeah.
and she's doing well, and and I think she appreciates all the help and all
Yeah.
that. And Jonathan's always been
Oh
100%
yeah,
there
Jonathan
the whole time.
loves y'all.
Although he's a work unto himself.
Yeah.
And Kishara is the one that she was always kind of distant,
Yeah.
and
Did y'all have much with her though?
yeah, I
Was
mean
she-
she stayed at the house second as much to Dee.
Oh, okay.
And then Jonathan stayed third much, and then Cameron only stays with us for a few nights here and there.
Yeah.
But because he still had the house, and then he moved from the house to in with other family members and things. So I would go see him once or twice a week, and take him food and make sure he was good and everything was clean and he was taken care of. But I mean he was 25 at the time when we
Right.
basically like adopted him.
Right.
And it's all fictive kin is the relationship. We could have gotten money. We could have gotten like $2,000 a month for taking care of Dee, but for 18 or 24, 18ish months or something.
Yeah.
We just didn't feel like we didn't feel right taking the money from the government, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though we probably should have. It was my
Well,
tax money
she was
anyway.
entitled to it. Though.
Yeah. We were entitled to it for supporting
Yeah.
her, and I was spending more than that, to take care of her. But
Yeah.
We never did that, and there was some legal involvement with it, but because we had to have papers to enroll her in school and all that stuff. But I mean, Jonathan and Kishara were 18 and 19 at the time,
Right.
and Cameron was 25.
How's Jonathan now?
I think Jonathan's like 25 now. I have to think about it.
I know. I'm trying to think.
23 to 23 maybe, 24.
Yeah.
He just had his birthday, and you would think I'd remember.
Yeah.
I just wished him happy birthday. I forgot to ask him how old he was. Or look how old he was.
Yeah.
I don't think it came up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He's got 2 cute little boys.
he sure does.
Yep.
Went from vasectomy to grandfather within 2 years. Four kids and 2 grandkids. That's what I do in my stand-up routine.
Well, that's funny because the next comment is be lucky.
Be lucky.
You were lucky, Dana.
That wasn't the type of lucky I was looking for. Does it say anything about unlucky?
Well, it's kind of funny because it's be lucky, and then
Be lucky.
the next one says relax and have fun.
You know, interesting. Those are all the ones that we have gone through. Like even with the perfection thing and all of the, this has all been on topic.
Yeah.
So did I tell you that we're going to the comedy thing tomorrow? I'm going to do my second day of stand up.
Yeah. That's
Tomorrow?
what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Are you going?
I might be.
You might. I hope you are. Are you, Rick? You can't go, right? Greg, are you going? Samson? Brenda? I don't think you can bring the girls, although my greatest fan, yeah. Yeah, not to a comedy club. They've probably language and everything, right? Yeah, that's good. No! Microphone.
My 5-year-old dropped the F-bomb, but honestly, I mean, I had to correct her, but I was kind of impressed she used it correctly.
What did she say?
Oh, you don't need to be letting her hear me anymore.
She said, well, okay, so she got some ice out of the freezer, and she was going to give our dog some ice in his water bowl. And she had it in her hand, and she said, "That's effing cold." I was like, you know what? That's context clues. That shows intelligence. But we're going to talk about the things
it shows
that we don't
you say some things around the house, I think.
No, I don't. But thank you.
Omar?
No, it's that song A, B, C, D, E, F, U.
What?
You know, you had to have heard that
No,
song.
I've never heard this.
Everywhere. It's a song that went viral from TikTok.
I don't know that song.
F you and your dog.
I
No,
just-
no, not the dog, but your sister and your mom. And your...
What?
You don't know?
I was thinking she heard me on the other line. I'm like, Brenda, make sure you mute me.
Wow. Which one did that?
Aya.
Aya did that.
Yeah. Aya did it.
She's my biggest fan.
Yeah.
She
Maybe,
is.
you know what? Maybe that's where she got it.
No, we haven't said that on the podcast yet.
Zoe's dropped it before, and she used improper content too.
See, it's a sign of intelligence.
Maybe it's not going to be a bad word in 10 years. You know, you can say the S word now, even on network TV. Like once. What's the rule on that?
Only after 8 o'clock.
After 8 o'clock.
On broadcast network, yeah. Without getting a $10,000 fine.
Oh, wow.
Although when I worked at the media station, I got really mad one day. We were doing a live shot from the newsroom, and I just wanted to just drop as many F-bombs as I could and be like, $10,000 fine, $10,000 fine, $10,000 fine, $10,000. It was that
Can they
angry.
sue you for that?
I don't know.
I don't
mean,
know if they would, but-
the station would be in trouble, but I don't know if they could try.
Wow.
I wouldn't. I don't have it to pay it. So.
So when I did my comedy routine, I was gonna maybe I'll do Carlin's 7 dirty words, my own version of it. FCC versus Pacifica.
Well, I had a chef that his brother was driving home one day, and his little girl was in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And this guy cut him off, and he goes, "You dumb F." And the little girl was like, "You dumb F." And he goes, No, honey, dump truck. Daddy said dump truck. And she kept going, you dumb F, you dumb F. And then there was this one time when my oldest was like 3 years old and we were in the car and my mom was with me and we're driving and I was trying to get over and this woman wouldn't let me over and my mom goes, that bitch won't let you over. And my 3-year-old was in the back seat pointing out the window going, that won't let you over. Mama, that won't let you over. And I was like, no.
Zoe did that?
No, it was Zachary.
Zachary did that?
He was 3 years old. I was like, Mom, you can't say stuff like that.
So my aunt tells a story about my cousin who is becoming a doctor now in medical school, but he was young and there was this waitress that waited on him, had just like terrible teeth. And he looks up and goes, she must not brush her teeth. She doesn't brush her teeth. Mama, she doesn't brush her teeth. Like yelling it out to the whole, and my aunt like turned white as a ghost and was just like, I'm so sorry.
Have you ever ate at Bone Daddies?
Yes, but it's been a long time. The one like at Spring Valley and Central?
Yeah, but they wear kind of like risque kind of clothing.
Oh, do they? Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, well, I never knew they were like that. And I went to have lunch with my mom and it was Zachary. Here's Zachary again. And we go in there and he's like 2 years old. And the girl like that's waiting on us is wearing like this skimpy like bikini top thing, but her like boobs are all pushed up. And he kept wanting her to pick him up. And every time he would come by, he would be like this. And she's like, oh, he's so cute. And she'd pick him up and he'd cuff her boob. And I was mortified. And
Which one?
It was Bone Daddies.
No, Zachary?
Zachary. And so, like, every time, she's like,
Can't
he's
blame
so
him.
cute, and just picked him up, and he just cupped her boob with his hand. And I was like, oh, my God, my child. And, like, so then I get home. Every time she come back by, he was, like, trying to get her to pick him up. And I was like, no, he's seated.
Did she know? Did she care? Is like...
I felt like she was kind of dingy about it. Like she wasn't recognizing what he was doing.
Surprise,
and I was
surprise.
just like,
The things that grown men wish they could get away with.
yeah.
True that.
Exactly. No, it was pretty funny. All right, next one is have a big idea.
I got a big idea.
What's that?
Wait.
Just off the rails.
I was...
Do that again, Jen, because I'm going to have to edit that.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
No, you can leave that one in. It was innocent enough when I said it, and then it only took me a second to think through and realize.
You want me to say it again?
So,
Have a big idea.
I got it. I heard her just said it the first time. So, our big idea: change the way that the divorce industry operates.
Right.
Make it about people being healthy instead of destroying the other person. Mm-hmm. That's a big idea.
Yep.
And then helping lawyers to run the business of their law firm better so that they can serve their clients better and actually be better lawyers, but only the good ones.
Yes.
Yes,
You run
that's
your
a big idea.
business. Don't let the business run you.
And to educate other people. Really what I am is an entrepreneur coach.
Right.
And even when I went into and picked to do family law, it was because at the time I was afraid that I didn't feel like I necessarily had business credentials or not. I mean, I'd been an entrepreneur at that time, I'd been an entrepreneur for a good 15 years professionally. Mm-hmm. And then, but even before that, I mean, my first employee I hired in 5th grade. But I told that story on a different podcast.
I know.
But the majority of what we're here for is entrepreneurial coaching and just good life coaching and good advice and good things to learn and things that will help our audience from old to young, from young to old, male, female, whoever you are, whatever stage that you're in. I think everyone can get something for this podcast, and it's
Yeah.
time to give back. And that's our big idea. That's my big idea. And that's what I work for and strive for perfection for.
Yes.
As we determined. Was that this episode or the last one?
Last one.
Yeah. And all right.
Okay, make people your main business.
There you go. And I think I just said that.
Yep, you did. So that is Secrets of Great Leaders by Carol O'Connor. 50 ways to make a difference.
So I got to remember to actually take the book from the studio so I can read it this week and talk more about it. All right, let's go to this one.
This one's called the Leader Phrase Book. 3,000 plus powerful phrases that put you in command.
So why did you mess that up? That's totally not my fault. I can't believe I hired someone as incompetent as you. Wait, is that not? Well, those not good ones. Examples of the dumbest things that you can say.
Yeah, this is funny. So here, when someone's picking a fight, you should say, "Clearly, I have offended you. I am so sorry. I certainly did not mean to offend you. You seem really upset. What can I do to remedy the situation?"
I like that one, maybe.
Yeah. Let's keep
is
this
that not a
professional.
backhanded? Is that not a backhanded compliment?
Kinda.
You want to hear a brilliant backhanded compliment?
Sure.
Hey, this was a Rodney Dangerfield, and there was a couple that just got married and went to see him. They're like, hey, Rodney, this couple just got married. What do you think? And he goes, "You both could have done better."
Oh my gosh. Okay, so how to agree with someone. True. That's absolutely true. You're reading my mind. I couldn't agree more. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree. We're on the same page about this.
Is this book just placations?
That's a good point. I'm in complete agreement. And then it's got,
those are good.
yeah.
That's
And then how to disagree. We appear to have a divergence of beliefs.
A divergence of belief. I had a young associate attorney, and I remember this to this day, that said, "Well, we just had to agree to disagree." Mm-hmm. And I found the phrase so distracting and so absurd. I'm like, you mean we disagree?
I think I like this one.
I agree that we disagree. I don't agree to disagree. I don't agree to do that. I don't know.
I respect your point of view, but
maybe it depends on
maybe.
what
It
happens after the
depends.
butt. Because usually a lot of crap comes out of butts.
it's funny because the more it gets blunt. I disagree with you completely.
We need a studio audience. I invited my parents. Apparently, they didn't make it.
There's no truth to that whatsoever. You need more education on the matter.
Wait, there's no truth to that whatsoever? Is a proper leader
Is this
phrase
book
book?
like serious? Because I
Hold
really
on.
feel like
Is this a joke book? Let me see. Are these real?
yes. It's like how you
Blunt versus civil?
Yeah, it's like if you
Okay,
want
so how to disagree in a civil way versus how to disagree in a blunt way. Why would you do that? Is there an
Yeah.
instruction sheet on this? Like, being thrust into an unpredictable situation can be extremely difficult. This is doubly true when you are a leader. And this is doubly true when you're a leader. She can't speak, I can't read. So regardless of whether, I'm in a shadow looking at this. All right. Regardless of whether you're an executive manager or a coach or a lawyer or a doctor, a politician, a salesperson, a diplomat, a den mother, or the head of a nation, you're expected to be able to take charge and influence. Blah, 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 blah. The fact that you reach for this book means you probably aren't satisfied with the status quo. I don't know. I'm satisfied with the status quo. I'm just always looking for better. You know you can do better. That's what I just said. But you need the magic phrases to help you get there. So these are magic phrases. Okay, how to use this book. It was designed with flexibility in mind. You can read it all the way through to get a general overview, or you can work on one particular situation or aspect of communication that you find the most challenging or relevant. All right, read all of the sample phrases and familiarize yourself with them. You can add your own catchphrases in the margins. The visual accompanying each situation will anchor you to order of magnitude in your mind, serve as valuable mnemonic device down the road. In the sample on page 17, next page, the continuum indicator goes from conciliatory to argumentative. Okay. So, all right. So, argumentative. So these, I think argumentative would be bad ones. So let's read the worst one. Mm-hmm. Boy, someone sure woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Okay, when someone is picking a fight. Or the conciliatory, the top one is, clearly I have offended you, I'm so sorry. I would rather not escalate this any further. Let's keep this professional. I would rather work this out in a more civil fashion. You seem really upset. What can I do to remedy the situation? I certainly did not mean to offend you. Or here's where it starts declining. You need to think about someone else besides yourself. Could you imagine saying that to somebody that we work with?
No.
I don't think there's a situation where I do that. Other people have feelings beside you, you know? Wow, so there's the examples of like bad stuff. All right, let's see if I can use one on Rick.
Rick.
Well, this is good though. Speak clearly and briefly. So general conversation, that's good. Expand your vocabulary, gain command of the idiom. Otherwise, you sound like an idiot. Wait, I added that in my own. I think I'm the idiot. So delegate your communications whenever possible. Mm-hmm. Actually, that was a good one. That's the one where I'm talking about like getting out of my email and having somebody else entirely answer my email. Because I have somebody else that entirely does my schedule. In fact, I almost felt weird talking to Kareth because she was like wanting to invite me to comedy stuff, and I was like you're welcome to email me, and I'm down for whatever, but you got to probably copy at least Brenda or Jennifer in order, because I have to ask them when I can even do anything, because all I do is screw things up when I even try to ever put anything on the calendar. Yeah, look.
When you cancel important meetings that we arrange for.
Yeah, see, I was like, oh, no, that can't be, I need to, I don't know, I suck at it. Learn from others' mistakes. I'm glad you screwed that up so that I'd never have to. That's not one of the recommended, don't do that one. All right, and back up your ideas with knowledge. I mean, that's what we try and do all the time.
Right.
And if I have an idea, I mean, like even with the audio stuff for this, like I now know extensively about the two microphones that you and I use, and just which ones to buy, and watching, like I've watched comparisons and educational videos over and over.
Yeah.
And by the way, these are really great mics that we have. Do you guys agree? Comment. Send us some comments. If you've noticed the difference in sound, we spent a lot of money and a lot of time to improve that. So if you, we would love a comment in the comment section about
Please
that.
comment.
Okay, how to agree, how to disagree. Let's see, how to close a conversation. Let's see how professional is good, and then unprofessional. You better shut your mouth before you put your foot in it. This conversation is over. I have nothing more to say to you. Could you imagine this? These are bad examples right there, but here's a professional. Talking to you is always a pleasure.
It's almost sad that you have to write a book to tell people this
I know,
stuff.
like this book seems more like elementary than I thought. I mean, how to destabilize someone. Subtle versus overt. Okay. The most overt way to destabilize someone. Whatever. And then subtle. Would you repeat yourself, please? Like, why would you want to destabilize someone? Machiavellian Techniques, Chapter 8. Mm-hmm. What a strange book.
Yeah.
It's back to, I just saw Sorry About the Inconvenience. Mm-hmm. That was a good one. Don't be so sensitive. How to apologize for something you said. Okay. So arrogant. Don't be so sensitive. Mm-hmm. That's supposed to be an apology? It's not an apology. All right. There's no excuse for what I said. Please forgive me. I think just, I'm sorry, please forgive me,
right,
is effective. I always put my foot in my mouth, it seems. Please forgive me. That's a terrible one. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a terrible thing for you to say about yourself.
Right.
No one always does anything. You got to be careful using the word always and the word never, because it's real easy to disprove. You only have to disprove one, and especially if somebody's testifying in court, they go, I always do this. I confront them with one example of them not doing that, and then the jury won't believe, or the judge won't believe anything that they say from that point forward. So you can't say that you always do that. It can be, I usually do that. There are some exceptions. And then I can confront them and go, is that time that you did it? You go, no, that's the time where I didn't. I told you, I often do it. I usually do it. That's one of the times where I didn't do it.
Right.
But I'm sure in the other instance where that you were asking me about, the one that's important to this case, I'm sure that I did do it on that one. And then if you've given yourself the out and you can be confronted, and when you're confronted with the truth, you should say the truth and acknowledge the truth of that, and don't let the other attorney or the other side wrongfully conflate two things that you've said. But if you use words like always or never, these absolutes, you find one example of it. And if you're up against me in court, you're guaranteed I'm going to have that example, and I'm going to have that example ready to go, queued up, waiting to use it, and hoping you're going to take my bait. Which is also why, if you're up against us, you should settle a case for a nice, good, healthy solution. It's almost always better to settle a case. There's very few cases that should ever really be tried. I think Depp versus Heard was a case that needed to be tried because he was defamed, and for his reputation, she destroyed everything going forward, and she tried to use that to even play herself, the victimizer, as the victim, and get all that credibility. And I think I'm careful enough, free enough to say that, because I think that's what the evidence showed, and that's what the jury showed, is that.
Well, did you see one juror came out and said that they didn't they didn't believe her crocodile tears?
She had no tears.
Yeah,
crying, no tears. You can look up and but she's wincing, and there's no liquid whatsoever. It was so clear. I mean, it was clear to me.
Yeah.
By the end of that trial.
I don't think she has the ability.
I don't think so.
I think she lacks empathy.
Probably. Yeah. And if you heard the psychiatrists. All right. When someone thanks you, okay. Formal versus casual. So these don't look like any of these are going to be bad things to say, but maybe we'll see. So formal, you are most welcome. You are most welcome. That sounds like C-3PO saying that. I'm glad I could help. I don't know, because that makes it about you. And in general, so I'll also tell you this, if you're going to be counseling or helping people,
you don't want to make it about yourself.
You don't make it about yourself, you make it about them.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be a good conversationalist, contrary to what this podcast is with me doing a lot of talking, it's better to be interested than interesting.
Right.
It's better for you to do more listening. If you go out on a date with someone and you just ask them questions about them and keep them talking, people have been known to basically not say hardly anything about themselves and hardly talk at all, and out with somebody who's really talkative, and they'll think, oh, this is the best conversation I've had in a long time, because they got to talk about themselves.
Right.
And especially lawyers love to talk about themselves. And but if you're interested in that, that goes back to Dale Carnegie's book again, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and that is probably his most famous book. The other one of How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, I mean, I probably like that book better, because that's more useful for you. But the How to Win Friends and Influence People is more useful for your career and in dealing with others.
Okay.
Both great books. Everyone should read them both, I think, or listen to them on Audible or on YouTube. It was the very least I could do. I don't like that as you know what I like? Thank you. You're welcome. Happy to do it, actually.
Yeah. My pleasure.
Yes. That's a good one.
Well, that's what they train at Chick-fil-A.
My pleasure.
My pleasure.
Excellent.
Every time they bring something to a client, a guest, I don't know why I'm calling them client, a guest, they say my pleasure.
So at Three Forks, when I was working there, 15 or 20, 18 years ago or something, they came out with this thing, and they said, we don't want you to say you're welcome or my pleasure or anything like that. We want you to say happy to do it.
Yes.
And at first I was like, I'm not saying that. I was like, I'm about to not be here anymore. Like, I was already licensed attorney at that time. I was like working a shift every now and then, or maybe it was like I was about to take the bar exam. I was like, I'm not going to be here long enough that they let me go, because I can't say. And I don't know why I was like, didn't work. I just thought it was silly or something. And I get that, and
Yeah.
and from that experience, that's why I see, like, when we change a policy or procedure, and one of our team members thinks it's ridiculous to do, like, I'm like, it's happy to do it again. And so, I then over the years, I realized, like, it's actually a pretty good thing to say, and I say happy to do it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it, and it goes a long way. And if you
Right.
get it genuine, forcing it or something, or that changeover was tough, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's some more. I'm so glad I could be of service again. I mean, that one's okay to be of service. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I don't know about that one. That seems cheesy. If you're happy, I'm happy. I mean, maybe. It just depends. It's always a pleasure. Here's my pleasure that's in the middle. Or like more casual. No problem. Happy to help. You bet. What? Pray. Don't mention it. Joking, it says, as if you're joking.
Huh.
Pray. Don't mention it. I don't get that. Does that mean, like, do your hands like, don't mention it?
No, I think pray meaning like ask for somebody else to change the person.
I don't know. It was nothing. Or next time I'll charge you, joking. Or it was nothing is joking.
I don't know.
This is a strange
I'm not
book.
really.
I'm not getting
fan
a lot
of the
out of
book.
this. I thought
Yeah.
it was going to be a little bit better.
Yeah, it's,
Like when somebody picks apart what you say, we all have different opinions. I'm sorry if I misspoke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't get with that either. So I think we're way advanced beyond this book,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I'm like into this
That's
book.
for beginners.
Not even, because if you've ever read another book that I actually completed Jordan Peterson's first book or
Okay.
second book. Not Maps for Meeting, which is his first book, but 12 Rules for Life. I've now read the whole thing, and long book, but good book, and it takes some time to get through it. But in one where he talks about use language very specifically, all of these are violating all that.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry if
I
I
mean-
misspoke. I mean, do you really think you misspoke?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of
If you misspeak, say, I'm sorry I misspoke. That's fine to use it.
Right.
But I'm sorry if I misspoke as some kind of way to, politely try and get out of a conversation or placate somebody. I think it sounds dishonest to me.
Right.
I think you should be very specific and very honest in basically everything you said. I understand that this is very important, but it's not my priority right now. That's actually a useful phrase. I mean, I know there's going to be some gold nuggets in this, but there's others, like, I'd almost want to rewrite it
Yeah.
and do my own version of the
Yep.
leader phrase book. And that would be interesting. We actually should start writing those things down, you and I together, and then we could write a book like that and take, suggestions even that we're making here and explaining in the podcast. Or if you just watch enough of the podcast, you'll get a lot of this stuff.
Right. Oh, why don't we go over? Did we go over SPO?
So our word of the day, word of the
suit.
day. So
Affecting.
I think we did
parents.
SAPSR before, but SPO. So that's acronym SPO for Standard Possession Order.
Standard possession order.
And
yeah.
what a standard possession order in Texas is, every state is different. Family law and marriage and divorce and adoption is not federally regulated. It's a state law issue. And so every state is different. And in Texas, what the standard possession order is it came about like in the 90s. It was I became an attorney in the mid 2000s, and so I'm not as familiar with exactly when it happened, but I think it was in the mid 90s is when they came up with the standard possession order, and it is where one parent has the ability to designate the primary residence of the children, and then the children will be with that parent basically during the school days and school weeks. And then the other parent, which historically was the father, but there's no preference in Texas law on their mother or father. It can be either way. But one of the parents will have custody of the children during school times on Thursday from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. And then on Friday, starting at 6 p.m. on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th weekend of the month. 4 times a year, there's a 5th weekend in a month, once a quarter. And then the other parent will have the 2nd and 4th weekends. And then they alternate holidays. The summertime, there's a 30-day period, or if they live more than 100 miles apart, then it's a 42-day period. And if they live more than 100 miles apart, then the parent has the option to do just 1 weekend a month, and then have every spring break. But otherwise, the spring breaks are alternated. If you have spring break one year, then you won't have it the next year.
So if you live 100 miles apart, you get 1 weekend a month, and then spring break?
There's an election that you can do to do that. Because if they're too far apart, then they can't really do the every first.
Who's
third, and
responsible for paying for the child's transportation?
That's something that is different for every case.
Okay.
It depends on either if you go all the way through a full and final trial, depends on what the judge orders, or it depends on what you agree to if you're going to come to an agreement.
What if the parent moves when the child is like, for example, like what if the mother's pregnant, father moves away?
So typically there's an
Yeah.
additional thing called a geographic restriction, and the parent who has the primary residence designation only has the ability to designate the residence within a certain geographic location, and usually it's considered like the county that they live in and contiguous counties, meaning any county that borders and touches that county, or it can be smaller or larger, just depending on what you agree to. Sometimes it's the state of Texas, sometimes it's the continental United States, sometimes it's without regard to geographic restriction, and they can move the child to China if they want to, wherever, if there's no geographic restriction. I recommend geographic restrictions, and I like them to be smaller rather than larger, because every 5 minutes farther apart that you live is a 10-minute bigger problem, because it's 5 minutes there and 5 minutes back.
Right.
So if you live an hour away, it's a 2-hour endeavor. And if you've just done that and I forgot my science fair project, it's an hour and an hour. And it becomes undoable, as opposed to if you live 5 minutes apart, it's 5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Right.
Or if you live like in the same neighborhood. Now, you don't want to walk out your front door and see their front door.
Right.
But the street behind that, not too close. Assuming that you are not a jealous jerk and you're an adult and you've moved on, and you're not a stupid fool. But that you can understand that the fighting was ended. You got the answer to your question. You should no longer be husband and wife, but you're always still mom and dad.
Right.
And you want to be the best mom or dad that you can be, and you want them to be the best mom or dad that they can be. And so there's a lot of different cooperation and things that you do. And then the holidays are switched. So if you have the week of Thanksgiving, then you'll have the second part of Christmas, which is December 28th at noon until school resumes.
Okay.
And then the other time is if you have the part that has Christmas Day in it, which is when school is released for Christmas vacation, through December 28th at noon. Then if you have Christmas, you don't have Thanksgiving. You have.
I always thought that like one parent got Christmas Eve, the other parent gets Christmas Day.
No, but we write it up that way a lot.
Okay.
Because we customize the standard possession order. I hardly ever use the standard possession order.
So standard possession is
standard
through
possession
the
order
28.
is like something bad has happened, probably, because now there is an expanded standard, and the presumption used to be standard possession, and then you had to make an election if you were given standard whether you wanted the expanded standard or not. Now, as of like the past year or two, the last legislative session, the legislature changed that, and now the presumption is the expanded standard possession order. And the expanded is, instead of 2 hours on Thursday, you pick up from school on Thursday and you return to school on Friday morning. And that's every Thursday, so they get every Thursday overnight. So it's 4 more nights a month during that.
Okay.
And if you look at the expanded standard possession order versus like a true 50-50, a lot of parents want a true 50-50, and I'm a big fan of true 50-50s, especially week on, week off. The younger the children, then you got to do more frequent. Like I'm talking like under 3, but if a week on, week off, it allows the children to acclimate. It's really easy to go, pink for mom, blue for dad. They can color code their calendar, as opposed to if you've ever seen a color coded calendar with the standard possession orders, this and this, and you got half a day here, and it's 6 o'clock at this time, and then it's different times or pick up
Right.
from school. Who's going to pick me up from school today? I don't know. And otherwise knowing this week is standard, this week is 1 week and this week is another week. And I think that Sunday exchanges go really well.
Right.
Because, you start off with school and then you have the weekend that they've been with you all week, and then you can reward the different things that they did that week. It's easier to parent with.
Right.
And so week on, week off, I'm a big fan. And from the 16 years of experience that I've got, and in seeing, kids that we've had do that program grow up under it, and the kids that do and don't, and what the differences are. And in my hobby of talking with people who have been divorced and whose parents were divorced and who are children of divorce, and in talking with them, I'm just a big fan of a week on, week off, one transition, one exchange a week, and the parents living very close together, and having the best co-parenting relationship that they possibly can. If a child gets in trouble at one house, they should be in trouble at the other. The
Right.
parents should back each other up. Now, I realize a lot of times that's not possible, and if a child gets in trouble at one house, the parent is the worst enemy about that, and takes a child's point of view, and the child learns how to manipulate both parents
Right.
against each other, and realizes, there's a big advantage to this. It's not just I get 2 sets of Christmas presents and 2 sets of birthday presents. It's, I can manipulate them to think that each other's the enemy, and then I can get away with murder at both places.
Which just happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
Yep.
And these are the type of things that divorce attorneys don't think of often. A lot of them don't, especially the ones that are just fight, and we're going to win for you. We're going to win. Right. Really? You know how you win is by counseling your clients and even getting through to the other side to where they can have a good, healthy co-parenting relationship. And we get a deal that is healthy. We actually can get a deal that's better for both sides than they're going to get by paying the lawyers a whole bunch of money. Now, you should pay lawyers some money in order to get you the healthy deal. Do not do it on your own.
Right.
But as opposed to going to war, no. The best thing to do is declare peace and negotiate the terms of the peace. And that's what we refer to as a soft divorce. That's what we refer to as a healthy divorce. And we want to get our clients through the divorce process in the healthiest way possible.
Right.
So, with that said, like and subscribe.
Yes, like our
and we'll
page.
teach you some more stuff about life, marriage, being a kid,
Divorce.
being an adult, what you should do if you're a kid in order to be a rich, happy, healthy person. And,
Start saving your money now.
and investing.
Yes.
How to buy things that pay you money.
Yep.
And how to have a good career, to be happy in life, and basically just make the world a better place. So subscribe, give
Like
us
our
some
page,
comments, share,
subscribe,
and share this with your friends, and we'll see you in the next
if you need
episode.
any help, call us at 214-789-4735.
And we'll see you in the next episode of the Lawyer Dana Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
The Lawyer Dana Podcast.